What's good, people? If you're stuck in your 9 to 5 and wondering how are people in 2025 able to make money online to allow them to have location freedom and travel wherever they want, this is the exact breakdown in full, step-by-step breakdown, A to Z, that I wish I had 2 years ago now when I first started out on my journey. So listen, take your ego out, bring that notebook in, bring that pen in, and let's lock the hell in, man, because I'm going to be dropping gems. Let's go. All right, so how exactly can you become a remote entrepreneur? Let's get into it. So what even is a remote entrepreneur, right? Because a lot of you are probably sitting there right now thinking, oh, all these people I see on social media who have something that they sell on social media, they must all be backpackers, they must all be digital nomads, That is not the case, right? A remote entrepreneur, no, it is not the exact same thing as a digital nomad. No, they're not the same. A remote entrepreneur is someone, right, who is running an online business, and that online business that they run, whether or not they have a social media personal brand, it allows them to have location freedom. So what you need to first understand is that remote entrepreneurs are not the exact same as a normal digital nomad, and also remote entrepreneurs or remote entrepreneurship doesn't automatically mean passive income. These are two different things which I'm going to break down right now. So number one, a remote entrepreneur is someone who actually runs an online business, as I mentioned. So usually if you're running an online business, you have a team. I myself have a co-founder of my business that I run now, the Core Network, as well as I have a team of about 6 individuals who are working with us full-time on the business, right? So because I have a team and because I have a service that I deliver to my clients within my business, I have a business. No, I'm not a digital nomad, because a digital nomad is someone who simply, right, is able to make a remote income, but that could also be through an actual full-time job that they're working. So an example, if I was still working my 9 to 5 job that I used to work in central London, and my manager said to me, Ty, you know what, for this year 2025 we're going to allow you to move to Spain and work from the Spain office. Technically I would be living abroad, technically I'd still have location freedom because I'm making money online, but I still work a job, so therefore no, I'm not a remote entrepreneur. But someone who has a business that they run online, that means that they are a remote entrepreneur because they run an online business, right? So that is exactly what remote entrepreneurship is. No, it's not the same as a digital nomad. No, none of these examples mean that you're a backpacker either going through Chiang Mai, right? So that is exactly what remote entrepreneurship is. Someone who runs a business, usually with a team. Freelancer versus business owner, because you need to understand that they're different. And as I've already mentioned to you, a remote entrepreneur is just someone who doesn't rely on location only, right, in order to make money, right? They actually have a business. It's someone who wants to make more, or get, should I say, more outputs for the same amount of inputs that they have previously made. So what I'm trying to say is that when I used to work my 9 to 5 job and I was working and given, 14 different skills combined into what was called my old job role, right? That didn't mean that I was able to get any more outputs from my job. I didn't get anything else back from my 9 to 5 job other than a 2.5K check at the end of every month on the 29th of the month, for example, right? Being an entrepreneur or someone who is a remote entrepreneur, I am focusing my mind and my brain to get more outputs based off of less inputs or the same amount of inputs that I used to previously do. So an example of that, what do you even mean speak English, G? I realized that I wanted to go down this path or this life path when my old 9 to 5 job had rejected me from getting a promotion. So as I've mentioned in several of my other videos, I used to work a 9 to 5 job in central London, right? I pitched a job role to the past CEO of the company I work for. I got my company a shit ton of results. I saved all these young people who was working in different roles as Gen Z's entry-level first jobs from leaving the business. And I saved my company a lot of money in doing so from the amount of young people who decided that they did not want to leave the company after I'd been appointed into a certain role and helped them make work more fun, basically, in a nutshell. After I was doing this role, doing international speaking, this is when I spoke in Norway, this is when I spoke at the Gen Z event, right? This is me again speaking in Norway for my second speaking event, right? I had 2 on the same day. I had then gone back to my company or my manager towards the end of the year after the first year of being in this role that I pitched for myself, right? And said, here's the amount of results I've given you. I've done this, this, and this. Here's the amount of input I'm doing. So I've done this, I've led this, I've got this school, public speaking, I'm leading 7 people, I want a promotion, right? And what did they do? I worked my ass off trying to promote, asking for a promotion to improve the company, right? And promote the company, but felt betrayed when I was rejected from getting a promotion after a solid year of hard work. So my manager said, you know what, Ty, appreciate the work you've been doing, love my G, but it's not happening, settle, right? So at that very moment, not only am I feeling hurt, I'm also feeling like, wow,
this specific industry or corporate work in a 9-to-5 job will never give me the amount of outputs that I want for the amount of work, effort and time I'm putting in, because I'm only getting paid the same amount at the end of every month, regardless of how hard, smart or dumb I decide to work in that month. And that is where my mind changed and said, you know what, something in my life has to change and I have to take full responsibility and accountability for my own income. I never want to allow a manager, a boss or whatever to be in control of how much money I'm able to make in one single month, right? Especially with the knowledge that I know now, not happening. So I changed. Rather than blaming other people, I changed myself. And this is the exact change that I made. I went from being a 9-to-5 employee, as you can see over here on the left, to being now a remote entrepreneur. So what are the differences? Because, you know, other than a little bit more stubble on your face, bro, what else did you actually do to change, right? These are the changes. In my 9-to-5 job, I was relying on a 9-to-5 for income. I needed that job. I needed my manager to keep me going and give me a performance review so I can make my 2K at the end of the month, so I can pay my £400 for insurance, so I can do A, B, and C. I was trapped to making money in one specific location or two. I could work from home 2 days a week, so I was on my laptop in my office room, right? And 3 days of the week, I'm commuting on the Central Line to go into Regent's Park so I can go into the office on the 4th or 7th floor to sit down next to my manager and work and pretend like I'm working for 8 hours of the day when I'm not, right? So I was trapped in one specific area of London and Greater London in order for Ty to be able to make money and make a living in any specific month. I was not in control of my life. When you're working a 9-to-5 job, as we all know by now, you are not in control of your life, because if you want to go on holiday, or I'm Caribbean, if I wanted to go back to the Caribbean, right, and say to my manager, I'm going to go and be in the Caribbean for a month because I want to spend time with my granddad and my great relatives or something, without even have to explain more, because do I even need to explain myself? No. My manager could turn around and say, Ty, appreciate it, love the mission, you ain't doing that, you've got 28 days of leave, you've already used up 17 of them, you're not allowed to be off work for more than 4 days, I've declined it. You have to be in the office sending emails on a rainy Wednesday. You are not in control of your life. If you are working a 9-to-5 job, you do not have control over your life, because as soon as someone controls how much income you can make in whatever time frame, they're basically grabbing you by your balls. They're saying, I'm in control of how much money you make. So that means as a byproduct, I'm in control of how much money you save, how much you invest, how much time you have to spend with your family, all of these different things. You are not in control of your life if you was like I was, working a 9-to-5 job. Accepting 2K per month for 30 days of hard work. So regardless of how much input I do, there's only one output that I get, which is one fixed income at the end of every single month. I'm not here to make this video again hating on 9-to-5ers, but at the end of the day, a spade's a spade, bro. Eat that shit. Right, is what it is. I used to work a 9-to-5 job myself, and I am now a remote entrepreneur because my mum and my sister are still 9-to-5ers, and I'm going to be getting them out of that. Hence why I'm in this vehicle I'm in now of remote entrepreneurship, building my own business. Uncapped income is how my life is now. Uncapped income, right, which means that, as you can see in the third section, the income that I make in one single month is completely within my control. If I post good content, if I grow my business, if I get things in order, if I do what I'm supposed to do and follow the mission, my income will grow as the amount of revenue that we make in a single month grows for my business. Simple, compared to what I used to have was my income being capped. No matter how much Ty busts his ass in a month, no matter how many deals he made, how many people or results he got for the company, you're still getting that £2,156.12 at the end of the month. Simple. Regardless of how much input you do, there's only one solidified output. Now, being a remote entrepreneur, running my own online business from wherever I want in the world, uncapped income, run my business from anywhere in the world, income is completely in my control. So alternatively, if I decide that I want to just slack off and not do anything for a whole month, right, and I don't make no money, at least I can say that's fully my fault. What most people do and accept is having income or receiving income that they're not even in control of, because even if you work as hard as possible, you don't get paid based on your effort or value. You get paid based on the amount of time you provide to the company. So you could say in a month of March, you want to work the hardest you ever worked in your life and get your company the most amount of results possible. You're still making your check, compared to someone else, your employee, your neighbor, whatever you want to call it, who doesn't do shit and gets paid the same amount as you, probably even more than you. Do you know what I'm trying to say? This is what the difference is compared to being a 9-to-5 employee compared to being a remote entrepreneur. And the difference, what are the mindset shifts that change from being a 9-to-5 past employee to now being a remote entrepreneur? Is that I understand intrinsically that I get paid based on the amount of value that I provide to the world, not based on the time I input into a certain vector, whatever you want to call it, certain pillar or certain whatever, right? So what I'm trying to say is that I get paid based on the amount of value that I provide to people, compared to when I was working my 9-to-5 job. I only got paid based on the amount of hours I inputted and how many shifts I've clocked in and done. It's simple. I don't need to even say anything else and describe it and hate on you people what 9-to-5 da. On paper, this is the difference. Like it, don't like it, suck it up, don't care. This is what you're looking at. When I was a 9-to-5 employee, I was contending with these 4 things. Now that I'm running my own online business and so many people in my network and in my wider, network are also running an online business, this is what we contend with. It's like a night and day difference. So you can just see on paper, which one would you rather do? Pause this video and ask yourself, which life would I rather have? We all know the answer. Cool. 3 ways that you can start to become, a remote entrepreneur yourself, because it's all good you watching myself and other YouTubers and being like, oh, they're over there and I'm over here. But little did you know, I also started over here and was also working a 9-to-5 job myself. So what was the actual transition that I made to go from point A to point B, to go from a 9-to-5 employee to now being someone who is a full-time remote entrepreneur, building their online business from different parts of the world, right? I was living in Thailand for 13, 14 months. Now I'm here in Brazil with some Latinas. Life's cool. Do you know what I'm trying to say? In a couple months, I'm going to go to the Caribbean. Life's cool, right? How do you become a remote entrepreneur, and what are the 3 best ways and or methods in order to do that? So based off my personal experience and also recommendations, this is exactly what I would do if I could start again. 3 different pillars, right? Remote sales. Why, Ty? Why am I going to do remote sales? How's this going to help me get a job in remote entrepreneurship? How's it going to help me build my own business? Whatever, right? Remote sales, right? Remote sales, the benefits of getting into an online sales role that is remote, obviously, right, teaches you commission-based pay, which means that you're going to get remunerated based on the value you get, or the value you bring, should I say, not based on the time that you input. You need to change your paradigm and change your thinking to stop thinking like a past 9-to-5er or past employee. That's how I first thought when I first quit my 9-to-5 job and was now doing my own thing and trying to create an income. I'm thinking at it from the wrong perspective, from the wrong stance. You need to stop thinking to yourself, how can I get paid based on the amount of time I give, and start to think, how can I start to get paid based on the amount of value I bring, as well as the amount of problems that I solve to the world, to my ICP, to my target audience, to this niche, whoever it could be. This is the major key difference. And the reason why remote sales is a brilliant way for you to do that, because as sales, you're going to get paid based on comms, commission structure. Depending on what type of role you're in, you might get a base as well. For example, some people in our network, such as Joe, Kevin was on a role, he's now waiting to move into a different role, should I say. These people was getting placed into an online sales job within the network, core network, right? Had a base salary of 2K a month, 1.8K a month, whatever it could be, 2.5K, whatever, right? And they get paid commission on top. So not only do they have a base, but they know that their job as soon as they start the month is to go and hunt and to go and earn more, bring more value out to the world, to the company they're working for, to the clients they're delivering or setting for, whatever it could be, based on the amount of value that they provide into the world, not based on the amount of time. No one cares that you spent 8 hours at your laptop, G. Have you made any sales? It's a yes or no thing. Have you brought value? It's a yes or no thing, right? And this is a perfect way to change your paradigm to get you to transition into the world of remote entrepreneurship, because it gets your mind to start thinking differently and think, how can I get paid based off solving this person's problems, rather than how I used to or I'm comfortable thinking, which is how can I get paid based on giving away my time. You need to stop. You need to detach your income from your time. I will sit here at my laptop inside here in Rio de Janeiro and work for 12 hours a day to go and build something, build an online product or a service or launch it that can literally pay me without me having to do anything, with the right team in place, simply because of the value or the extent of the problems that I'm solving for whoever I'm trying to solve them for. Change your mindset, and this is what the mindset you need to have to step into being a remote entrepreneur. And by you getting into a role in online sales, this is the foundation. And if you really think about it, in the modern world, or ever since the beginning of time, all a business is made up of is sales and marketing anyway. So it's a perfect way for you to step into that world and change your paradigm to get you thinking that way anyways, right? Remote sales, if I could start again from scratch, this is what I would be doing. And those are the reasons why. Second thing that I would suggest, right, from experience to start your journey into remote entrepreneurship. So being your own boss. These are my two biggest goals that I've always wanted to do, is be my own boss and really live in South America / travel the world. And I've done one. Well, not travel the world, I'm traveling, and now I'm living in South America. Anyways, right, building a personal brand teaches you modern day marketing. Personal branding is the marketing of today. That's it. Need I say more? Full stop, mic drop. Learning how to build a personal brand, posting good content, teaches you modern day marketing, builds an audience of people who are attracted to your personality. Why did you click on this video? One, because you're going to learn something, but two, because you like this sexy chocolate brother who's now got blonde hair. You like the way I speak, you like how I keep it real, you follow my journey, whatever it could be. It's because you, for whatever reason, like the creator that is creating the content for you to go and consume. It's as simple as that. If not, you would change the channel. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You need to go and build a personal brand, because this is the marketing arm of whatever business online you decide to go and create. Whether or not you want to have a faced or faceless brand, whoever, whatever, you need to go and get on social media and start posting content to get other people's eyeballs to give you attention on whatever it is you want to put energy towards. What is it? For example, I'm not going to go and deactivate all my personal Instagram and social media accounts and just run the core network, because who the hell is the core? The core is me and my business partner and the people and the members we have within the network. Literally, that is the core. So therefore, we need to go and build content around our personal brands, because that's the marketing arm that's going to direct people over to the actual business model or whatever it is that you're building. It's simple. You need to go and build a personal brand, and building a personal brand and being consistent with it is a great way for you to change your paradigm to now start thinking like a remote entrepreneur, because now you're going to start to understand and learn how to garner attention in the new world, because all social media is just person to person marketing. I will go and make a reel talking about how wonderful Brazil is and how good the Latinos are and how da-da-da-da. That's just me marketing something which is Brazil to you. If you go and watch someone else's content and all they talk about is sales or fucking tea and coffee, they are marketing this thing and through their lens to you. That's all it is. Every single creator you watch, you need to look at them through the lens of what is this person trying to teach me and how are they marketing to me? Because that's all social media content is. It's just modern day marketing. Building a personal brand is an asset. The content you post is not the compounding asset, but the audience you build is the compounding asset, right? I've got 40,000 people who follow me on Instagram. That there is the asset. I don't really care about the content of me reviewing fucking Pad Kapows in Thailand 6 months ago. That is not the compounding asset. That 62-second reel is not. The people who follow me from me putting out that extra video or piece of content who now want to follow on my journey is the compounding asset. It's simple. You need every single person and their dad and their dog needs to have a personal brand in 2025, right? There's disproportionate returns, positive returns, right, to go into build a personal brand in today's day and age. And if you are not on social media and if you are not posting content every single day, you're doing yourself and whatever business you run or are a part of a massive disservice. Argue with your dad next, right? And last but not least is a service-based business. Why is a service-based business going to help me start a remote entrepreneurship? Because it's literally the thing that will allow you to run an online business to become a remote entrepreneur. Building a service-based business teaches you how to build an offer and how to deliver services to your clients. So for you just building out some sort of service-based business, coaching program, offer, whatever it could be, it will teach you how to build an offer, how to actually not only garner attention, how to convert people, right? And how to actually deliver your mechanism. So whatever it is that you have to sell, it will teach you how to deliver that thing as well when you get practical feedback from prospects, from clients, from people you close, so on and so forth. So now you can see the three arms. All it is an offer, this one over here, marketing, this one over here, and sales. These are the three fundamentals that builds an online business. Simple, builds any business, but you could have a product-based business, whatever, but this is what you need to do. These are the 3 steps you need to take to start out in remote entrepreneurship. It's simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Pick one, stick with one, and go and attack that thing. Now let me bring you onto this framework that I use personally and I have used when I reflect and look back on my journey. The learn, earn, and leverage framework. Step by step, learn a high income skill or solve your own problem. A problem that I solved for myself is how to move abroad the right way using your 9-to-5 job. I solved that problem for myself. myself. A second problem that I solved for myself before that one, right, was how to go and pitch a job role as a Gen Z in corporate. Solved that problem for myself. I pitched my own job role, did all of that, right? Other problem that I solved is how to actually garner attention and how to use the audience I've built to monetize and actually make money online. 3 problems that I've solved, technically 3 problems which are also under the bracket of 2 high income skills as well, right? Go and ask yourself, what high income skill do I want to learn? And if you're smart, you should go back here and you'll now start to see things, dots are connecting. High income skill, high income skill. Back to this framework. Learn a high income skill or solve your own problem. Go and start to actually act out and do or fulfill that high income skill or problem you solve to earn your first £2,000 to £5,000 per month, right? You have to have some skin in the game and actually do something. For example, how can I go and teach someone else like you watching this, here's how you can go monetize your personal brand if I've never gone and monetize my own personal brand myself? How can I go and teach someone, here's how you can pitch a job role and get a 10K salary increase as a 21-year-old guy working in corporate if I've never done the same thing myself? You need to solve your own problem first and/or learn a high income skill, which could be remote sales. The dots are connecting. It's as simple as that. Once you've done that, and step 2 is obviously you're making some income from that, you should then start to commit to leveraging that skill/problem you've solved by building a personal brand to get attention towards what you've done, to then add an additional offer to then go and teach other people starting out who want to be in your position. This is where people get mistaken, because you hear people who just ain't got the balls to go and do this themselves and don't actually want to understand and be cognizant, oh, this is another guru, this is another scammer. You can't be a fucking scammer, bro, if you're someone who's solved the problem for yourself and you're helping people solve the same problem. Because 10, 20, 30 years ago, your dad paid for a property course off a property mentor to learn how to get his first property, for example. So that person's not a fucking scammer, are they? It doesn't make sense. We're all adults here. Anyways, right? Leverage it into your personal brand and build out a team to help you deliver it at scale. Once you've been able to build a business, right, and you've actually got an offer and you're starting to scale, you're using your marketing arm, personal branding, you know sales, or you've got someone as a high ticket closer or setter on your offer, whatever it could be, right? You now need to start thinking about delivery mechanisms. What is the best way for me to deliver this service at scale that allows me to now start to buy my time back from the business and not put myself into another job? What you don't want to do, and what most early entrepreneurs do, or what most people who are starting to transition into remote entrepreneurship, is they end up becoming a freelancer, which they glorify and call themselves a remote entrepreneur, but you're not. For example, if you have an online fitness coaching business and you do every single thing from point A to point Z, right? You don't have a business, bro. You're a freelancer. I myself, when I started out, thought I was a remote entrepreneur. I was a freelancer. Now I'm a remote entrepreneur because I run a full team, right? And we're scaling our business. But when I first started out, and it was me doing the marketing, me doing the sales, me doing every single thing under the sun, the admin, the back, I was just a freelancer, bro, right? I was doing all the heavy lifting myself. I was a freelancer. So this is what you need to do in order to start to become and transition into becoming a remote entrepreneur, right? I'm not making no title in this video, and you know why, saying, oh, here's how to get 50K a month. Forget all of that. If you right now are working a 9-to-5 job, or you got a side business that you're starting that's doing less than 2K per month, right? This is exactly what you need to do. Lock in. Blondie's talking. Biggest mistake to avoid is not prioritizing your highest leverage skill. What I'm trying to say here is, what one task or lever can you pull that's going to give you disproportionate returns on the one single input that you are actually doing? For me, why are you watching me right now? Because it's content. My highest leverage task from the beginning of time, right? From my first YouTube video, from my first time I posted on social media, right, is creating good content. Because I'm confident, I don't really care, I'll go and post that content, I will go and sit down and make that video, whatever it is, I'll get the job done, right? And I get disproportionate returns every single time I go and make content, right? So all I really need to do is start to try and prioritize in my day doing my highest leverage task, which gives me the most amount of outputs based on a singular input, which is in baby terms, go and post some Bumbleclot content, go and post content. That is my highest leverage task, right? Focus on your leverage. This is your weapon, bro. Everyone's in competition with each other. I was in competition with you, trying to get you to go and click on this video rather than the other 4 people that you skipped over before clicking on me, Blondie, right? Focus on your leverage, on what separates you from everyone else. My strength, right, is that I can go and make good content, and I'm going to spend my days going and making as much content as possible. and you should too. But let me not fool you. Remote entrepreneurship, no one's saying that's going to be easy. And don't, just because you see a couple of my vlogs, me going to a waterfall with some bad Latina girl, think that every single day I'm just out here thinking, what's the next side mission that I'm going to go and do? Because it's not. My priority is building and scaling my online business with my co-founder. So therefore, this is really what my days look like. Google Calendar, Loom, Slack. My days actually look like me waking up between 4 to 6 a.m., right? Locking in, doing my frog task for the day and finishing my tasks around, 2 to 4 p.m. Sometimes I'll be working all day, right? Because I love what I do and I love building a business, and I've created a business for myself that I actually love and actually enjoy, bringing real results and changing people's lives for real, right? You already see what the stuff we're doing with the boys inside the Core Network, normal. This is what the days look like, and don't think to yourself, if you're gonna go out and become a remote entrepreneur, life is gonna become easy, right? As I've said in previous videos, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get ahead? In order for me to have control over my income and all these other things that I've said here, being a remote entrepreneur, I've had to give up perceived level of safety, even though we know it's false and a facade anyways. I've had to give up comfort, all these other things, right? Because my business at the end of the day will only grow to the extent that I grow as a person, right? And I'm willing to go and take that risk every single time, 10 to 1. Right? So ask yourself, are you willing to do this? Because if you're not willing to sit down for 9 hours on end, eating fucking eggs, ketchup and 4 coffees, with your dom by your side, bro, are you really ready to go and put in the work? You know what I'm saying? If you are, right, looking to go and build your online business, right, and you're starting out, right, and you're looking to build your service-based business and you market your business from social media content, building a personal brand, or even if you're watching this right now and you want to get into remote sales, that is exactly what we do with the members inside of the Core Network. We've already got a shit ton of results, right? Check the description, DM me Core on Instagram, right? No ladyboys, no neeks. Let's get to work. Love.